Right now, a 36-year-old woman is appearing in court today in connection with her nephew's murder. Police in Tsakane exhumed the boy's corpse over the weekend. It's alleged the woman beat Manqoba Mchunu to death, then had him buried in her backyard. eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu is covering this story for us, and he joins us now live to give us more details. Manqoba, I think a lot of South Africans were shocked to hear about the story. Give us more details about what happened here. How long ago was Manqoba Mchunu murdered? What gave the police or anybody who exhumed the body the idea to actually look for this child in the backyard of this woman's home?
What we do understand at this point is that Manqoba Mchunu had been missing for over a week. The last time, in fact, some of his relatives saw him was when he visited his aunt in here in Tsakane, where, of course, she then reported him missing on the 24th of March. So what we do understand is that the police had since then launched or had opened a missing case person to try and perhaps locate where he was, at the time. But subsequent to that, we understand that the 14-year-old son of the 36-year-old suspect who is appearing here in court today had then informed one of the relatives in KwaZulu-Natal that his mother had actually assaulted Manqoba Mchunu and then buried him in the backyard. So this information was then taken by police. Of course, they came at the house on Thursday evening along with the K9 unit, and they dug up the backyard. And what we do know is that at the time, the 36-year-old suspect had asked some of the neighbors to actually dig a hole at the backyard with the pretense that she was going to install a JoJo tank. And that's where this body was then found inside that hole when the police had dug up and then made this gruesome discovery. He was wrapped in a black plastic bag, and we understand that the police then had excavated that particular space at the backyard. That's where they then took the 16-year-old out of that particular hole. But in terms of the investigation, we do know that she will be facing murder charges as well as defeating the ends of justice and perjury. The case is still being investigated by police, but we do understand that there are several witnesses that have also come forward that will also be here in court today. The case itself is expected to start shortly here before this court. We are told that any time from now it could start inside the court. But at this particular point, Masiko, we have seen some of the relatives of the deceased here in court. We understand that the mother of the 16-year-old boy is also here in court. Of course, the family is quite devastated. They're quite shocked by what happened here, but we are yet to get a sense from them exactly what unfolded and how they are feeling at this particular point.
Manqoba, I'm just wondering, I know that you might not really have the direct answers to this, but this 14-year-old boy who went to report his mother to relatives, do we know at all anything said by police about how he's doing, counseling offered to him perhaps?
Well, what we understand at this point, Masiko, is that he is in the care of relatives, we've been told, and at this particular point, we don't know whether he will be detained for this particular case, but we do understand that he was questioned by investigators. And we understand that also the 36-year-old suspect was also questioned by police just in the hours before that body was excavated from her backyard. But also we understand that on Friday, she was also questioned by police, and that is where she then made a confession about this particular murder. We don't know as yet the details of that confession, but the police, of course, are still investigating at this particular point. We are here to hear more of the details when this matter does eventually appear here before court. But I can tell you that certainly the court is full of those relatives. We've seen quite a number of them here this morning coming to hear what exactly happened and how this unfolded. But from what we're hearing is that the 14-year-old himself might have partaken in the assault or the beating up of the 16-year-old that had happened. And we understand that it's been over a week since this incident had happened, and that when this body was excavated, this is where then everything was confirmed as what the boy had told the police, relatives, about what had happened at the home. But in terms of the investigation itself, it's still very sketchy at this point. But I guess we'll have to wait for what the court will have to say today to hear how far along police are with this particular investigation.
All right, Manqoba Mchunu, let's leave it there for now. He is out in Tsakane at that court case against, I guess, for a lot of family members during cases like this. The question they want answered is why.